minimalist design of WH dependencies. Actually, I have a subtitle, what happens in the Clausal domain? And also, I have one more extra subtitle, to be boxed or not, that is the question. So, that's all. Yeah, so my subtitle already show us almost everything of my presentation. But anyway, I'm going to start my presentation with a discussion about the box system in the current framework and whether it should be mandatory or optional or based on some condition. This is a very early stage discussion, so please feel free to comment. And, okay. Next, it is brief roadmap of my presentation. I have very small section from 1 to 7, and so I just want to discuss about the WH question in English and echo question, also in Italian as well. And the last part of my presentation, it will be discussed in the WH puzzles in Korean. So, yeah. And from GK to minimum create, there is a strong consensus for the system because, I mean the box system, because it has minimized the traditional successive cycling movement. Yeah, you find the solution. Thanks. Yeah, thank you. Anyway, so, for the strong consensus for the box system, because it has minimized the traditional successive cyclic movement. Though WH movement has frequently been considered obligatory in English, syntactic echo question typically manifests the WH in situ. To be boxed or not, we need to look more closely as whether this is mandatory or optional. Okay, let's go to the point number 1. Actually I prepared some kind of animation effect, but it doesn't work. But it's okay. So, yeah, you can imagine what happened. So, I think I don't have enough time to discuss about the prepositional domain and Clausal domain because minimal create, Chomsky already showed us very clear concept of the propositional domain and Clausal domain. In PD, propositional domain, theta is assigned and Clausal domain. Other discourse-related properties are determined, so you can just feel what happens on the propositional domain. The theta is assigned, but the Clausal domain, what happened? So, yeah, actually it is the position being boxed. So that is why I try to find what happened in Clausal domain. So, yes, next, I already told you, we already have a strong consensus in the box system, so what can be boxed? If after being boxed, CQ have some kind of indication, so consult the boxed element and, okay, please externalize nearest me or some kind of topmost position. So this kind of system is very smart. So if you can find the box system on number 2 here, so unlike traditional analysis, topicalization in box system can be captured in a single move. So yes, we can find this one. Number 3 and number 4, I already mentioned what the Jeon by. We have this kind of very general WH question in English, and number 4, Jeon both what. But we can find if we, in this derivation, I mean in number 3, IM applies to theta marked what 1 and IM what 2. Handles probably Q feature or WH feature. So, but in this moment, I will not go into very detail about whether it's phase internal or not, but I just want to focus on the operating of box system according to the Clausal type and the properties of W8. And in number 4, we can find the echo question, Jeon both what, but in this moment, if what is to be boxed, the sentence goes to the same as number 3. So in small conclusion, what in 4a should be an unboxed element. So what what is, WH word is very puzzling, but in this moment we can find very different behavior of what. So okay, it is the data from some Italian scholars. So Italian echo question. In Italian, as you see, it is mandatory, not optional, to give causally focus to the WH word in echo questions. Accordingly, Italian scholars have explained the grammaticality of interrogative sentence by placing the focus feature within the syntax. Whether causally encoding is syntactic or not is one of the research issues. Empirical evidence for this discourse-related properties affect word order or clausal type has led many scholars to argue that causally encoding is a task within the syntax part, or that it leads to the research on the interaction between syntax and PF. But this moment, I'd like to mention one more thing that in English echo question, Carney 2007's idea, it is suggested that echo question in English involve a C with only a feature in intonation in means, which does not cause movement. So anyway, in echo question is very interesting. So anyway, the feature intonation, it never allowed to move. This intonation tells the phonology to impose upward final intonation on an echo question or similar intonational issue. Obligatory main accent narrow focus on WH word in English echo question, also assumed by Rees 2017. And I'd like to just briefly mention about Chomsky's lecture first. So I think everybody enjoyed this part, and it was very short, but Chomsky's brief comment in the talk do not suggest an immediate application of the focus feature in syntax, but it is something we will think about more seriously in the future. And this kind of relationship between the multiple WH construction and the box system, as in the example below. And I just want to make some very brief idea of Chomsky's answer. So it was some kind of question related to the multiple WH or both WH and topicalization. And as far as I remember, Chomsky's answer was, if we say who prepared who to read, it doesn't work. But if we say who persuaded whom to read, it does work. So the second WH has to be focused. So the lower one has to be focused, in which case it's not WH movement. It was very short idea from the Chomsky, but I think we should look more closely about this issue. And it's very small point 3, and what the city should handle. So Clausal domain, we have this kind of discourse property. So some Italian scholars I already mentioned assume the discourse-related properties such as topic or focus are encoded as a formal feature in the lexicon and drive the syntactic computation. And it guarantees the simplicity of interface of syntax with both CI and SM interface as well. There is no direct link between PF and LF. I'm so sorry, I confused CI and SM and PF and LF, but anyway, there is no direct link between them. The phonological effect of discourse-related properties can be accounted for within key model only if such properties are included in the lexicon and encoded in syntax. At this point, a quick summary of what Clausal domain should do is as follows, and we can see this kind of table, and probably in Clausal domain there should be handled Q feature and WH or topic or focus feature. So this fits very well with the concept of duality of semantics. So let's move on. Yeah, WH indefinite, because the last part of my presentation, I would like to talk about the WH word puzzle in Korean. So WH indefinite related to the WH word scope ambiguity. So I just want to mention about WH indefinite. WH indeterminate as well, refer to a group of words that can be employed to create both interrogative and indefinite meaning. Research in WH indeterminate has observed that interrogative and indefinite interpretation are differentiated by prosody. So in WH in situ language, Chinese and Japanese and Korean scholar also already mentioned about this interaction between prosody and this WH word indefinite. And Ginsberg 2009 also expand previous research by proposing a theory that illustrates the relationship between the behavior of QU morpheme or WH phrases in interrogative formulation across many languages, and how this behavior is controlled by interrogative feature. So interrogative feature, Ginsberg's idea consists of three components, Q feature and WH feature, and one more thing, focus feature. So this highlights specific keyword. So, and based on this idea, and so in accordance with the research conducted by Aun and Lee, 1993, so contend that the inclusion or exclusion of WH and QU feature of WH and Q feature, this kind of system make the Clausal typing projection, or it relates to the distinct Clausal type. So we can find it very, in a brief way in number 10. So. Okay, let's move to the number 4 section. So this section, small title is what qualifies to be boxed. I already mentioned a lot about the box system, but it could be an identical way. So let us suppose that we have identical syntactic object in workspace. Essentially, this minimal pair creates uncertainty in sentence formation. Look at number 11. So workspace, we can just see the Jeon and by and what, but yes, what? It is also, ambiguous. So look at number B, but I think we can compare number 11C and 11D. So if what 2 is boxed in closure domain, so we can find it is WH question, what did Jeon buy? But what 2 is unboxed in closure domain? It could be an echo question, Jeon bought what? So if the information structure such as closure type and topic and what focus is to be determined with the closure domain, then cartographic analysis for the city structure is truly on the minimal path. Okay. Let's look at the WH puzzles in Korean. So based on cross-linguistic study on question formation, it has been found that yes/no question and WH question have a distinct syntactic structure, though they share similarities in morphosyntactic elements such as the use of question particle, inclusion of an auxiliary, or alternation of word order. When considering a single clause WH question in Korean, in number 12, 민수는 무엇을 마셨어? Actually, it is 민수는 subject and 무엇을 we have object and 마셨어 and drink. It means just bird. But in this situation, we can find 3 kind of sentence type. So you can see certain A and certain B and certain C. So everything is exactly same. So, but I'd like to mention about the prosody, but in this moment, just workspace cannot figure out what it is. So how can we accurately determine the speaker's intended meaning? So So this kind of identical syntactic object in workspace, this kind of minimal pair makes in Korean one, certain A as a declarative 민수는 무엇을 마셨어, and certain B 민수는 무엇을 마셨어, and certain C 민수는 무엇을 마셨어. I'm not sure, but I hope everybody catch what is the difference between numbers certain A, B, C. So you can slightly catch what is the difference. Thank you so much. So yeah, probably, yeah, thank you. And okay, anyway, we can find exactly same syntactic object, but very different externalization and very different closure type. So how about, well, actually I need to find my animation effect, but it doesn't work, so you can just enjoy certain prime. So this one, WH question. In English, like WH movement language, we have to move to the scope position specific. But in WH-C2 language, how is the correct interpretation achieved at the CI interface? However, Korean allowed to be scrambled, so we can overtly move WH word to the CP as shown in 13. But what 민수 drank? But okay, I tried to find this way, like in English style. But 무엇을 민수는 마셨니? 무엇을 민수는 마셨어? 무엇을 민수는 마셨어? Actually, we have same kind of syntactic object in workspace, but certain B prime you can find it is WH question, but certain C prime you can find it is yes no question. So yes, I will talk about WH purchase in Korean. This is some kind of WH scope ambiguity. So the firstly, as far as I know, An and Jo 2012 scope ambiguity they find in fragment question in Korean there exists this scope ambiguity. And Maida and Jeon 2019 also we demonstrate the fragment question in Korean and Japanese contain remnant are interpreted as a contrastive topic. And this interpretation is achieved by removing a full Polish clause. And for convenience, following the standard convention, in 15, I used the intonation symbol like L for low and high for H, describe the patterns of WH question. So I already mentioned the prosody has some kind of effect, but fragmentary question, so disappeared whole TP. But 민수는, we can discern what is the difference between prosody, but totally we can get different kind of output. One is for the WH question, but the other is for the yes no question. So look at number 6, and when syntactic object on workspace in 16a, A is interpreted as a statement, as in 16b, it is uttered with falling intonation. Conversely, it should be uttered with rising intonation when interpreted as a question, as in 16c and 16d as well. The prosody of these phrases reveal their true illocutionary force, rectifying this mismatch. This ambiguation of the meaning of Korean WH word can be achieved by both context and prosody. But it's not totally depend on just prosody, because WH word in Korean has some kind of idea. So a number of scholars have embraced the perspective of WH word already. So I think I don't have much time to discuss about. Oh, sorry because I have to handle by myself. So anyway, the next slide, I just want to focus on what's going on, the influence of the prosody and syntax. But already, many scholars have assumed about the understanding of WH word have been discovered like this situation. But based on their idea, In certain licensing contexts, WH word can be ambiguous and having either a definite WH or indefinite WH value. This ambiguity determines whether the sentence functions as a WH question or yes/no question. So I deduce the WH word in Korean have an inherent bi-value WH plus minus trait. So this function as a signal of definiteness of WH word that indicate WH question. Conversely, in the presence of WH minus feature that has to be determined as yes/no question. So yes, you can find this idea in a very brief way. So in WH word in Korean, we can share two kind of a feature, Q and WH. So WH question, we have plus WH value, but yes/no question in Korean, we have a minus WH value. So the WH word 무엇, repeated here as 13, can be interpreted as a WH interrogative what bearing plus WH or indefinite pronoun something bearing minus WH, rendering the sentence to either a WH question or a yes/no question. The upshot of this exposition is this by value plus minus WH, and it is directly related to the box system. So let's go to the number 17. For simplicity, the current example is described in English as following the number 17. The question I want to talk about today is whether the object WH what should be always be boxed or not. Also, given that the box position is Clausal domain, we want to show that it may or may not be boxed, depending on its discourse properties. So we have seen that when the object what has the feature plus Q or plus WH, and when it has the feature plus Q but minus WH, it leads to the different kind of sentences. So as far as we know, CQ instruct the boxed element to externalize from topmost. So of course, this is possible in the case of English. However, CQ access what to, that is IM to Clausal domain, and assign a matrix scope. And Korean CQ does not require 무엇 to be externalized for SM interpretation, but needs to get scope for CI interpretation. So the last part I would like to mention about the cross-linguistic variation in Clausal domain. In relation to WH question, it is commonly assumed that in a language that exhibits WH movement, the WH phrase must be moved to a place within the left periphery in an overt way. Conversely, it is assumed that in situ language require the WH phrase to shift to its appropriate position in a covert way in order to take its scope. What we need to consider is that WH movement language and WH in situ language show different behavior. Cross-linguistic variation exists in this regard, and Kitara 2024 talked about it very clearly. So what merges generate is the same for English and Japanese with respect to WH, but how they are externalized differs. So English covered CQ require WH to be externalized close enough. And while there is no such morpho-phonological requirement for Japanese over the CQ, so yeah, it is selected from the Kitara 2024. So number 19 is almost conclusion. We can just find very colorful, but you can just catch what is the idea of this presentation. So the indefinite WH, it is very crucial. So minus WH. If we have minus WH, it is unboxed actually. So we can distinguish the WH question in English and echo question as well. And in Korean, modified way depending on the value of the Q and WH feature. So yeah, the last slide show us that if we discern what is the property of WH word, we can find very easily it is being boxed or not. So in the Clausal domain, so I already talked about my subtitle show us almost everything of today's presentation. So what happened in the Clausal domain and to be boxed or not, that is the question. So in this moment, I just want to mention what qualifies to be boxed or not. And absolutely, it has some kind of clear distinction. But but there is cross-linguistic variation when it comes to externalization or CI interpretation. So yeah, I think it's good time to finish my presentation. And thank you very much.
So we have 11 minutes to answer any questions. Is there any? There are any? Okay, please.
Yeah, I enjoyed your talk, and I think we can examine WH elements or indeterminates to say more about mark system, but actually, in addition to investing, I think this topic. I mean, this investigation is relevant to the relevant point of investigating the issue because go back to the echo question. Actually, right now the question is whether there is an objection to or not. That's the first question we investigate. Yeah, recently I found that Dan Dickens wrote a very long paper about the object shift in cross linguistic perspectives, including English. So this is a really controversial issue even in English, right? Yeah. Right. So there is Chomsky claims object shift is obligatory, but Ablasnik claims it's optional. Just like that, so that once again, actually in Chomsky's analysis, boxing, that's a next step above object shift, so that. And regarding your study of prosody on echo or WH or Korean indeterminates, as far as you can see, that's a very good issues. But we also, you are also familiar with the Gyeongsang dialects, like a Nino distinction. So that externalization, that's a more important study of indeterminates themselves. So probably my point is wrong, then please, okay.
Yeah, thank you for your comment, and I fully understand what is going on for my future research for Busan dialect or Fukuoka or some kind of difference between the local area. But anyway, yes, I didn't know there's some kind of Dan Dickens idea related to the object shift. I think I need to find more about this situation because I think it is, I'm not enough, but as far as I know, there is no deep insight for the echo question in English, so I think it could be really related to this idea. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Thank you very much.
focus on what is happening in closure domain because we already assigned this data in the propositional domain, and that the move I am what to I mean it has different kind of role I mean in compared to the what wants to. I just want to highlight this one, but
in order to participate sort of the causal interpretation, you have to be in CD, right? That's what you said. Yeah. And Chomsky was saying the arguments, especially arguments, has to be moved from a proposition domain to a causal domain. So it looks like that's already taking place because everybody's in CD, causal domain. So if box is sort of, you're right. If you're in CD domain and then you're a box, well, you are not box. But still, I'm not seeing whether that does affect your analysis. Looks like as long as you're in CD, you are visible for the head, and the head has all sorts of properties, and you gets it, all kinds of reading. So that's why. So plus Q plus WH box, but you don't have plus Q plus WH unbox, right? So I'm still not sure, maybe I'm not seeing well. I still don't know why you have to say box and unbox. If you are in CD, you are visible for the causal interpretation, and then the heads are relevant to get the right interpretation. And the echo question and then the WH question get different kinds of interpretations. So something else is happening. But the WH has to be visible for those phase heads, and then by definition, those visible ones are the causal domain. And then Chomsky says, those are separated domain, and then meaning he uses the word box. So that's not interacting more with the proposition domain. So it looks like as long as you're connecting with the higher phase heads for the causal interpretation, that is in a sense box.
Thank you for your comment. I think I need to, more, but I just want to mention minus WH indefinite, just itself, it could be it could affect different closure types. So WH question, yes, no question. So closure typing, it is really, in the conventional analysis, we took, we typed the closure difference in CP, but
Indefinite WH is also in causal domain.
you mean the definite WH?
Indefinite.
Indefinite, yes.
So in order to participate, those arguments must be in the causal domain, and that's actually sufficient for the causal interpretation. So the Mamuri also has something similar, like its higher heads actually look into the indefinite WH and it gets a valuation for his terminology. But Chomsky's now saying, so crucial part, you have to move to the causal domain because you are born with a propositional domain. You have to move, that's an IM thing. So whether that is, echo questions or whether that is externalized questions, you have to move into the causal domain.
Yes, right.
And that's why you said everything is in the causal domain.
But not box, just, So, I'm so honored, Thank you so much,
Yes, thank you for your presentation. But please refer to your Zooms. The will, some question is asked in your Zooms. Please. But we have already times.
Is it okay for me just answer?
The first answer will be prepared.
Wow. Thank you for your question, Professor Sonun Kim. And yes, unboxing, it means exactly it is. So I think, as far as I remember, being boxed is not obligatory for all kind of situations. So I just want to find out, we can some kind of we can make choice being boxed or not. But in there, we should suggest very strong evidence. So that is why I mentioned WH indefinite. In that situation, we cannot do box, but being boxed as well. WH question in English, like, so yeah, in that situation, we can, we can be boxed. So not cancellation of boxing, yeah, I think, because cancellation of boxing, it exactly means first we box. But yes, I don't mean that, yeah. So yeah, that's why I already mentioned the subtitle to be boxed or not.